became aware of it is I got calls from longtime residents of Anaheim who were having issues, noise issues, in their neighborhoods. And they were residents who didn't necessarily, attention how this all evolved, we're not against people renting out their homes in this, but what was happening is the city, and Greg is right, this was the clerks of the city in planning said this to a number of people. There were no regulations with regard to how these were being enforced, what the penalty structure was. There was nothing. And what had happened is somewhere between 150 to 200 homes had already had business licenses. They were operating in the city, and they had been for some of them for up to 4 or 5 years already. These rentals. I went, okay, and we have no structure we have no formal structure in the city to enforce and regulate and penalize people for bad behavior. It's like, okay, and wait a minute, you're telling me someone's operating a business in the neighborhood, and that's what it is, it's a business, and all they did was pay for a license, and there's no real sales tax or anything else? Well, this is just wrong. This is just wrong. And so I talked with the residents, a lot of the residents who had come to me about the noise, and I said, what do you think of this? And one of those residents, I will tell you, one of those residents is Lon Cahill, who's the former chairperson. He's the first person to call me, former chairperson of the Anaheim Public Utilities Board, currently sits on it, and is the former fire chief of Garden Grove. And he, along with a number of other residents who I have a close relationship with, said, you know what, that's the way to go. Let's regulate this thing. They're already here. They're already here. So long as we regulate it and we tax them and we use the revenue from the tax, we can enforce and get a benefit, an infrastructure benefit from it. So we then went through a long process. It took about a year to create a regulatory structure through resolution. And we did. And it was approved unanimously by the council. Upon reflection, and I can say this now because I voted to end the program, there were things that shouldn't have been in there that did not make it. And I don't regret that I don't think I was wrong in voting for the resolution at the time, because a lot of other jurisdictions did not have some of these pieces that should have been in there. But what happened is we had this existing 150 to 200 rentals that had already existed in Anaheim. And then at the same time as we were dealing with this issue, the Airbnb revolution came in on top of it. If Airbnb had never existed and the VRBO structure that had started last decade had just been in place, we might have been able to manage this. We might. I'm not saying we were, because we didn't, but we might have. But Airbnb created a whole new access to this, that it just, the gravitational pull around the program, it was not sustainable. So here we are. We tried it. We did our very, very best. I believe that with the money that we did garner through the first year and a half of the program, $3 million, we were able to put that to good use. When the protest on the program first started, I, as the person who proposed the structure, said, we immediately need to get $200,000 into the code enforcement to take care of these neighborhoods and make sure that they're secure. And I did that. That was done at the very beginning of the moratorium. And I think it was very helpful in making sure that the neighborhoods knew, we're going to get right on this, we're going to make sure that whatever issues you're having, we take care of it immediately. But then the things just kept on evolving. And by the time we got to the vote, and it was a tough vote for me. It's a tough vote. As someone who had invested a lot of time and effort into regulating this program. I have an STR right across from my alley. I have an STR right across from my alley. And I have to tell you, and I said this publicly, I have never once had an issue with it. Ever. And I've had upwards of 50 different interactions with different families and renters. But there were a lot of people in the neighborhood who were having issues. And so that is where we are. We ended the program. And it's on an 18-month amortization. Airbnb has already swung their racket at us, and they're going to sue us, and the majority of us who voted to end the program know that it was coming, and we will do our very, very best to stay the course with the 18 months. But now it's a matter of litigation, and know that you have a majority of the council that defends. And it's actually 4 members of the council. There really is only 1 member of the council who was not in favor of ending the program because it just was not sustainable anymore. So that's the bit. I hope that answered most of your questions.
There's just one thing I wanted to get to. It's, again, this is not going to be a nasty one, I think. When I said due diligence, I'm basically talking about the research that you do to, among other things, the current state of the law.
Anaheim, I did all of that too.
Okay, Anaheim has had and still has a law dealing with bed and breakfasts.
Yes,
as I believe you know,
yes, they do.
That is extremely restrictive. You said that basically, it sounds like you took this clerk's word or whatever, I'm not sure, that Anaheim had no regulation of these new kinds of agencies. Why did you think that the bed and breakfast law would not apply to that?
Through my due diligence, the staff informed me that the bed and breakfast regulation did not apply. Did not apply.
Thank you.
That's okay. One more question. And then I promise.
I say never give the floor to a lawyer. But that's okay.
Thanks, Art.
Greg, we've been on the same side.
But Art, he was so nice to me this time.
Yeah.
One of the things is that I've appeared before the city council, Mr. Brendan, and I've asked on behalf of children, and I think the other board member here will concur, is that one of the issues that we have, and it's a responsibility of the cities, and we have 3 cities. I don't know, you guys probably have 4 or 5 that you guys are encompassed in. We have La Palma, Buena Park, and Anaheim. The poor schools I have are in the Anaheim west side, which is which has not been neglected. Everything west of the 5 has never had any representation for the last probably 40, 50 years.
Since Miriam Kaywood, no one has been from District 1. Right.
No, anything west of the 5. I think when I first came here to work with my uncle.
1998. Frank Feldhouse.
Yeah. Well, he's south. Well, that's okay. But the issue is this. The cities have a responsibility for crosswalks. And if you look at the death rates and what has happened south of us in other cities, in Garden Grove, and Santa Ana,
Stanton,
and the cities have neglected, and their responsibility is to do traffic studies. We asked 3 cities, Buena Park, La Palma, and Anaheim. And I figured, well, Anaheim would come in with a large report, typical of bureaucracy and the money that you spend on consultants. La Palma would come in with the same thing, very rich city because they're in charge of all the kids. They have multi-million-dollar homes. And Buena Park would come in with a regular report. I got a report that was nice and well done.
The question, if we could.
Well, the question is that we got a report. There was only 1 page from La Palma and Anaheim.
Okay.
I mean, it could have been done by a high schooler. And when you take the lives out of it, the question is, what are you doing to protect the children? And I asked that question. I haven't got a report in over a year back from the city council. We're working on some things over there, one of the districts. I got 1 speed limit on one side and another. When are we gonna get decent sidewalks that have the flashers and a report that shows that the safety is a concern for the city of
Or-
Anaheim, the residents west of.
I'm
or
really
any part
glad
of
you,
the-
sure, I'm really glad you mentioned that, because, and for.
That's the question. sir.
Absolutely. We are working on it, and we are doing our best, but I will make sure that I look into the specific issue with regard to Centralia School District.
Not to, I
So,
have to look at it and.
but
talk
two,
to
but
Donna.
I want to bring up two items. One, because I have the wonderful Linda Labadas here, who came to the council and said, Guanita off of Gilbert needs help. They need help, council. And she looked directly in my eyes, and what did we do? We got on it.
Yes.
And we made it happen. And that was a cross between the county and the city. So it was multi-agency, and we did it.
You know, my
And
concern is
two,
it hasn't been done.
and two,
Citywide. We haven't seen a traffic
we will,
report.
Art, I will look into that, and we will make sure that we get you satisfaction and satisfaction, because I care about our kids being safe in the crosswalks too. It's very, very, very important. And two, Kevin Carr from Stanton has alerted me to a situation, because there was also a very, very unfortunate accident on the border of Stanton and Anaheim. And our staff is also looking at that, and we'll probably do a traffic study just on that incident as well. As
And
we do.
just to let you know, my nephew is walking and he's playing soccer again. So.
So, I'm on it, sir. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Councilman.